Hello, everyone. We are back from break. Now, since we have gone through what is human rights, what are the ethics for human rights, now a very important reading for us is environment itself a human right? Now, this is a very important analysis. Now, what could be the reasons why I'm saying that this analysis is very important? For the simple reason that the polluted environment affects your right to health and your survival. So, if the physical, chemical, biological conditions around you are not conducive, then how would you be able to talk about your right to life? So, to have a good environment around you is very important for you to get your right to life. In fact, it affects your right to life. Now, this is very important right, which is there in the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. It's Article 6.1, which talks about this right. Now, this right as such is very largely affected by polluted environment. Now, the issue is that this term right to life has not been elaborated much under the covenant. So you can say it broadly includes right to food, right to shelter, right to clothing, right to education, medical care, and decent environment. So that is how we talk about it. It's all about decent environment around you. But then the point is, what is this decent environment? And whether the safe and decent environment should be included as right to life. Now, here there are two things. One is the national mechanism, and one is international mechanism. And these two issues are separate. So, how as a country we are treating right to environment and whether environment is a human right and how we are treating it as as a right at international level. So we'll start with national level. Now there are different national jurisdictions, which believe that right to environment is a human right. Say for example, Tanzania. So there's this very important case, Joseph D. Cassie versus City Council of Dar es Salaam. So there it was held that as per Tanzania's constitution, they have one Article 14 in Tanzania's constitution. They said that um, Dar es Salaam cannot prevent the environment to endanger the people's life. Now, same kind of thing has been declared by the Supreme Court of Nepal also. Then Bangladesh also. Bangladesh has this very important case which they generally refer to, which is called Dr. Mohinuddin Farooq versus Bangladesh. So there it was held that right to life encompasses within its ambit the protection and preservation of environment. So to them also, right to environment is a part of right to life. And they said that these are basic necessities which human beings must possess, which means that a human being cannot maintain his dignity or honor if these things are not existent. And this right to safe and adequate environment is significant in maintaining your human dignity and should be called as human right. Now, there are certain jurists also who are with these judgments. Say, for example, our Indian jurist, Dr. Nagendra Singh, he has been very categorically stating that right to live in peace in safe and adequate environment is a right which relates to our existence as human beings. So it is very important. Now, as we say that it's very important and it is relatable to right to life. When it comes to India, we have several cases. So we have the Rural Litigation and Enlightenment Kendra versus UP. We have Shaistar Builders versus Narayan Kimalal Totame. These are very significant cases. Then you have other cases also. You have lot many MC Mehta cases which relate to environment. Then you have other cases, Subhash Kumar case. You have Kinori Devi case, and so on. So in many cases, we have very clearly said that we consider environment as a human right. But then the significant question is, are all the national jurisdictions in favor of right to environment as a human right? There, the answer is no. There are developments, no doubt about it, but most of the jurisdictions have clear cases around about it. But then, in many places, they are still not very clear, or you can say that there are still contentions. Then the next important question is, what are we doing at international level? Are we accepting this as a human right or not? Now here you have certain issues that, to begin with, as you read the important instruments, neither the Universal Declaration of Human Rights nor the two international covenants stipulated for conservation of environment. So when it comes to the International Bill of Human Rights, right to environment as a human right is non-existent there. It is not mentioned there. The importance for safe or adequate environment was in fact stressed in Stockholm Conference of 1972. And there was a declaration which was adopted, and we proclaimed that both the aspects of man's environment, the natural and man-made, are essential for well-being of human beings and enjoyment of basic human rights, even the right to life itself. So that is where this entire discussion begins at international level. And in fact, if you see very closely, you would understand that most of the developments which took place at national level, specifically in India, relating to environment, took place after Stockholm Conference. Then there was a Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro. There also they recognized that all human beings are entitled to health and productive life in harmony with nature. So we can say that there is a growing awareness about right to environment, right to safe environment. But then I must say there is no consensus as such at international level. So the things end with the efforts which have been taken place at national jurisdictions. Yes, there is a consensus, there are developments, but then we are yet to say it very strongly. Then come environmental ethics. So we are through human rights, then human rights ethics. Now, if we say that environment is also very important, right, then there should be certain environmental ethics. Now, what are these environmental ethics? And why exactly do we need to study them? So, there are very important questions relating to environment ethics. Why we need to read them? It's all about the damage which we are causing to environment around and what exactly we need to do about it, whether we can slow this damage, whether we can do something about it. So when we go ahead with such discussions, naturally we talk about the environmental ethics also. Now, what are they? These environmental ethics are the application of ethical relationships or standards to relationship between human and non-human entities. if we want a balance between the things, then we are talking about environmental ethics. Now, this is a discipline that studies the moral relationship of human beings to, and also the value and moral status of environment and its non-human contents. Or you can say that this study is what forms the ethical basis of environmental protection. Now, this is very important. Why? Because it would exert its influence on a large number of disciplines. So, if you believe in environmental ethics, then these environmental ethics would form the core principles for laws. Then they could be the core for development of a few theories of sociology, theology, or economic ecology or geography. So it is very important to understand what is environmental ethic. Why? Because every law or every development has a core. Say, for example, we have certain human rights ethics, which are core of different conventions which came up later on. So, similarly, we need we need a core of environmental ethics also. Now, with this, we take a break, and then we'll start with different approaches to environment ethics.